trading day started this Thursday, the 29th of September. Look at the market. Nigerian stocks escaped the sell-off that we saw across other markets on Thursday, again, just after the central bank raised interest rate on Tuesday. The market came back on Tuesday, a little bit sluggish. We saw a sell-off still in the banking sector, but the market was helped up by Boa Cement, whose shares climbed yesterday, Nigeria's second largest cement maker. The BRVM climbed higher by 0.03%, a bit of a soft gain, but again, held to the 204 level on the composite. The Egyptian market fell 1.17%. The Nairobi stock market fell by 0.3%. And the GSE down by 0.34%. That was your trading day. In summary, across Frontier Africa, those markets that we cover for you on the show here on a daily basis. So that takes me straight to your top stories within the East African corridor, with Kenya inflation outlook at 6.5% for this year and 5.5% for 2023. That's according to a new report released late yesterday by Allianz Trade. There are a few other countries on the continent. The average for the continent is around 14%. Kenya Power is looking to spend about $330,000 to pilot its transition into making of electric vehicles. And Kenya's new president, William Ruto, says Safaricom and bank CEOs have met together. He presided over that meeting to try and resolve some of the issues between Safaricom and M-Pesa and mobile money transactions with the banks relating to charges and all of that. That is being discussed among the banks and the telecom behemoth that Telecom is, which is looking to dealing is M-Pesa products by next year. And Rwanda and Mauritius are expected to see more private wealth in their countries over the next 10 years. That's according to a new report that tracks private wealth, high net worth individuals on the African continent. That reports indicate that smaller economies such as Rwanda and Mauritius will begin to grow more private wealth for individuals over the next decade because the economy is revving up. So, okay, let's talk, John, with the West African space, where inflation at a lower double digits is expected before the rate hike could slow down by the central bank. That came from an interview late yesterday with the Director of Monetary Policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Says inflation currently at 20.5% is unsustainable, and the central bank will keep raising rates until inflation is seen at the lower end of double digits, somewhere around 13, 12, or 11%, but not until then. The outlook from Allianz Trade, that a report yesterday, shows that Nigeria's inflation will average 18% this year, within 20.52% in the month of August. Let's see whether we'll see a deceleration as we head to the end of the year, October, November, and December. The outlook for next year is 15%. Would that be in line with what the central bank is looking for? Is anyone's guess. Let's see what happens in 2023 in Ghana. As reporting is $731.9 million in revenue in the first 6 months of this year from oil explorations. That's according to that report. While Shell Petroleum, that global oil giant, has entered Africa's renewable energy market by making a purchase, although regulatory approvals are needed, of Daystar Renewable Energy Group. That's one good news hitting everyone yesterday. And GCR, which is the global credit rating agency here in West Africa, has assigned BBB rating to Server. Server is an airport services company based in Cote d'Ivoire and listed on the BRVM. Great. Let's see what's in the box this Thursday for the Southern African space. Germany, France and South Africa says they're in talks together to support South Africa with about $570 million for the country's energy transition, carbon trading, and what have you. Germany and France say they're having these conversations because South Africa is looking for roughly $85 billion in the first phase of its transition. Now they're bringing about $500 million to the table between Germany and France. Those talks are ongoing. Perhaps that will also help South Africa to overhaul its troubled energy sector, with Eskom board of directors expected to be reshuffled. At least 14 positions are being vacant of independent directors that ought to bring expertise and a whole lot more knowledge into ESCOM. That could happen before the end of the week. That's what's in the news, by the way. And Allianz Trade I've been talking about says Africa's inflation forecast at 14.7% for this year, and that is expected to decelerate to 9.6% single digit by the year 2023. Yesterday, the central bank in Zimbabwe, the Reserve Bank, who held its policy rate at 200% and held a medium-term lending also at 100%, as we saw a strong rebound in Zimbabwe. Stock markets index, the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange Index, fell below the 15, down to almost single digit. Then, of course, started climbing back, finishing yesterday around 11,000 on the reading. Get us latest later on the wire. There you can see the North African space this morning as we begin to wrap up the story. What's the big story? President Al-Sisi of Egypt has asked the central bank governor to, in 2 months, ensure that obstacles to imports and manufacturing in Africa's biggest economy north of the continent should be resolved as in 60 days. That was the riot act that President Sisi read out to the central bank governor. Next door, the Bank Al-Maghrib, which is Morocco's central bank, raised interest rate by 50 basis points to 2%. That's the highest in 14 years. First time in 14 years that Bank Al-Maghrib will raise interest rate, and the whole idea is to tame inflation in one of North Africa's biggest economy. Of course, then you've got story around 2.7 billion euros volume of trade between Egypt and Spain for 2021. That's what the Egypt's Minister of Industry reported. A backward-looking data, but gives you an idea of the size of economy between Egypt and Spain, one of the biggest economies in Europe. Then finally, International Finance Corporation says it's allocating about $3.5 billion for Morocco's private sector development. The IFC is the private sector lending arm of the World Bank. And you have been briefed. That's your Frontier opening bell this Thursday, the 29th of September. I am posting them. If I go online and watch this show again, you can also go on our website, Frontier Africa Reports, to read up our stories and watch other videos on our YouTube. You can subscribe, it's free. We're also available across all the social media platforms. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.